Good morning, Nigeria. It's a vibrant midweek edition of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. My name is Anoluakpo Idu, and we're ready to guide you through the refreshing Wednesday morning, bringing you the top stories, the depth, the conversations that keep you informed and ahead of the day.
Definitely, and whether you're powering through the midweek or so, settling into your workspace or tuning in from home, we're grateful to be your trusted morning companion. Let's make your Wednesday count.
Absolutely, it has to count. We begin with a political thunderbolt shaking the national space. Yes, it is breaking news. Fubara defects to APC, All Progressives Congress. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has officially crossed from the PDP to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, a move that is already sparking intense debate and recalculations across Nigeria's political terrain. Why now? What's the ripple effect? And how does this shift alter the power map heading into 2026? We'll break it down and answer all the questions, perhaps attempt to answer the questions.
Definitely. We'll check in on today's weather across the major cities to help you plan your midweek movement.
Yes, then it's Daybreak News, a crisp roundup of stories shaping Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large.
Definitely. And in our newspaper review and analysis, we're joined by seasoned public affairs analyst Afolabi, who will help us decode the front pages and the deeper issues behind the headlines.
Yes, today's big story takes us to the heart of regional security and continental diplomacy under the theme Beyond Borders. Senate approval of Tinubu's troop deployment request and Nigeria's evolving role in African unity. With the Senate giving the green light for troop deployment to Benin Republic, Nigeria is stepping into a complex conversation about leadership, responsibility, and the future of African cooperation. Is this a sign of stronger regional solidarity or a move that could reshape power dynamics across West Africa?
That's a big question. Joining us to unpack all of that is Honorable Kunle Olatunji, Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to Senator Yunus Akintade and former Special Assistant on Media to the late former Governor of your state, Senator Abiola Ajimobi. His perspective will shed light on both the political and diplomatic layers of this unfolding story.
Then we'll close the show with Trend Watch. You know, like we say, we watch the trend. Midweek digest of what Nigerians are buzzing about online and what's making the headlines across social media.
Stay with us. There is Midweek Energy, Midweek Insight, and Midweek Clarity on Daybreak Live.
You're watching Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. So let's get started.
Exactly.
Good morning to you.
Good morning,
this morning.
Well done.
Yemi, how are you?
I'm very well. Yeah, so this morning we are looking at something that a lot of persons or a lot of Nigerians saw coming, because I'm not shocked. I don't know about you, that Governor Siminalayi Fubara defected, to the APC. Over the weeks or even the past few months, it was obvious. For a lot of Nigerians, they even felt like maybe he would have defected months ago, immediately after it was reinstated as the governor. And then a lot of Nigerians feel that, okay, maybe he's decided to say that I want to defect to this party, because according to him, I watched the video yesterday and he said something very cogent. He said, we are tired of supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through the backyard. We want to support him fully now, according to him. Let's also not forget that recently, all 16 members of the House of Assembly, Rivers State, also defected to the APC. The same set of persons, when Fubara was going through impeachment process, that said, oh, we have nothing to do with the APC. They all defected. And even the Speaker of the House, that's Martin Amawele, also defected to the APC. So, some people are saying, what do you expect Fubara to do in that situation when all members of the House of Assembly defected to the APC? And one more thing, Nigerians are also asking, even analysts, if you like, they're saying maybe Fubara decided to move to the APC because, because of Wiki. I mean, because they feel like because Wike is so close to Tinubu, and that's why he can do and not do to him. So he wants to defect fully to the party and have the support. Other persons are also saying that Fubara felt betrayed by the PDP, to say that the PDP could not save him in that situation of impeachment. He went through a lot. Then we got to know that the president had some meetings with him and his principal, that's Wike, and that was how he was able to come back, to become the governor. So it's a lot to unpack. And then I want us to compare certain things, looking at this defection, because if you listen to these governors that have moved from the PDP to the APC in the last few months, they have similarities and differences. Let's start with their similarities now. Let's talk about Dewey. Moving from the PDP to the APC, it was like, the PDP is a sinking boat, and then it has been hijacked by some undertakers, that are hell-bent on destroying the party. So there's need to align my people with the center. Let's also talk about, Governor Imoheno, of Akwa Ibom State. He also said, he came out publicly to say, there's a need for me to align with the center, and that's why I'm moving to the APC. Let's also talk about, certain governors that have defected. Even this morning, I was reading a story speaking about Governor Agbus Kef of Taraba State. Let me read it to you. The Taraba State chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Ibrahim Tuko, has confirmed that Governor Agbus Kefas will formally join the party in January 2026. So PDP might be left with 5 governors and then only one southern governor. That's Makinde. Others, we have Bauchi State, that's Bala Mohammed. We have Fintiri of Adamawa State, and then 2 other persons. So it's a sad one, because Nigerians are saying, are we moving to a one-party state? I don't think that is going to happen, because the Labour Party, still have Alex Soti, and of course Abga as, this Chukuma Soludo, and of course we know Kano, has, Abakabe Yusuf. So it's a lot to unpack to see that these people are defecting. Another defection that we saw yesterday that is a little bit shocking is that of Adeleke. I mean, we know the reasons why Adeleke defected. Of course, PDP is in shambles. PDP is going through a lot now. So it was obvious that it cannot contest under the People's Democratic Party. But speaking about Fubara, we can only speculate. We can really not say this is the exact reason why he's defected. Though he mentioned to say that, okay, I want to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that's why I'm defected to the party. So good luck to Fubara. I mean, he's been welcome, to the APC, honestly.
Well, I guess it's okay to say that we've envisaged this. We knew this was going to happen. Maybe not with the particular persons that are making the defection as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But we saw this coming, especially when it seems like there's been a trajectory of a one-party state system. And nobody is speaking against it, especially at the federal level, because it's more like people are saying you're doing well and we want to join your party. We want to pitch our tent where you pitch yours. We want to jump on the bandwagon of the APC because we know the party is doing what we think is right, especially for the Nigerian people. So now, just like you mentioned, Ademola Adeleke was moved to Accord. There's been that claim also. We had the conversation yesterday where there were questions about why Ademola Adeleke did not react when the First Lady, kind of disrupted him while he was trying to make his own speech at the time in Osun State. But every other thing we are seeing at this time, and it seems like defections are yet to come. We've not seen the best of them. Maybe someday, somehow, soon enough, we'll get to see some more. Because some have also alleged that there's a chance that over 16 or 18 governors, or should we say 20 governors, would become party members of the All Progressives Congress eventually. There's been that claim, there's been that envisage, and we're also counting on that to see if that would happen. But I want to speak to the issue of a one-party state system. While it holds many benefits, especially for political leaders, it doesn't hold so much for an average Nigerian, because who gets to question power, who gets to question authority, who gets to question what's being done wrong, and who gets to say, can you do it better? Because when everybody is now in a centralized system, there seems to be, yes, the politicians will enjoy from this, some of them will get, but there's also a problem in that as well. And the problem is the APC might have problems with giving positions to people, because there's only, maybe there's only a limited seat for at the national level, for example. So for people who have been one-time governors that probably wants to move to the federal level, maybe for appointment and all that, there's not so much to go around because everybody has moved to this party. And, it also begs the question of, suppressed opposition, where other parties, especially during elections, will not have so much power because this current incumbent government will do everything in its possible best to still encourage its dominance, to still continue to foster its dominance across board, because they would not want to let power go. But should we also say, I think that was the first I wanted to say, is it a death of a giant for the People's Democratic Party? Is this the fall of an elephant for the People's Democratic Party? We've seen Wike again come again in the news recently, saying that he's still a member of the People's Democratic Party, and then is still willing to do. They're trying to do the faction. They're trying to work on some other things to maybe restructure, refurbish, or to reinvigorate that particular party. But all of this now, it seems, should we say, that PDP is already letting go. Even if they are not, it seems like the odds are stacked against them in a lot of ways. But let's take it also one step. I wanted to speak again and again to the issue of one-party state system, how that it doesn't really benefit eventually. But anyway, maybe this is a call, or this is a chance for another party to rise and stand to, shoulder to shoulder, and stand shoulder to shoulder to try to see if they can actually weigh so much, especially in this particular situation. When as we see now, when Similar Life Fubara was making that, I saw a lot of persons right there, chanting and then singing and rejoicing. Sometimes I wonder why our leaders, I understand that, we all understand that the PDP is currently in crisis. They have issues that, they are not resolving. But I can assure you, maybe not a prophetic person now, but I'll tell you for a fact that soon enough, the APC might have its own share of problems, and it might be big because they are big names. This is a trajectory we've seen again and again. This is not the first time we're hearing about defection, but there's something I always say, and I'll keep saying it, that it seems we don't run ideological party system in the country, which is why we have all of these defections happening. For you to move, for example, in the United States, to move from being a Democrat to being a Republican, then you have to say, I'm letting go of some certain things that I've held strongly. The things, the belief I've always had about this party, I'm letting it go, and I'm taking something because I feel is more superior to whatever I've always believed. I think we do not run that. And I know this is, of course, a problem for us, because if anybody can just wake up after a cup of tea or after a short nap to say, you know what, I'm joining another party, and there's no check, there's no balance, there's nobody that is saying we want to check if you are credible or if you are without blemish, because it seems like anybody that comes with sin can be forgiven, especially when they come to the center stage, which is the APC as we speak now. So if anybody comes even with a crime, if maybe there's an allegation or there's a case against the person, you can be sure that that case is going to die a natural death, especially when they move to the. So some of them are not just moving for political reasons, they are moving for clemency, for pardon. Some of them they know soon enough, maybe the next administration in their state, for example, will call them to question. We'll question them and question some of the things they've done. We've seen this before. The former Benue State governor, I've forgotten this name now. The former Benue State governor, before Hyacinth Alia, also had a fair share of this. There was a call for how did you spend the money of the states and a lot of that. But eventually, once they get to move to the center, it seems everything will die down. The cases will be swept under the carpet. And I think it's high time we probably ask questions again, or put them on the table, or put them to discuss to say, can we have it better? I was speaking about Samuel Tom, the former Benue State governor. There's a chance we need to now start having conversations about what does it mean if you join the center stage? What does it mean for your political career? And what does it mean for the people? In the sense that if there's a case against you, will it die? Can we still uphold the case and check and let the court of law do justice to that, instead of just saying, once you come, then everything is settled? I still want to ask the question again, to maybe throw the question to Nyesom Wike of the Federal Capital Territory, to ask what exactly Wike is doing with the PDP. Because some have also alleged that Wike has been the major problem. It's been the cause of the root cause of the issue in PDP. While Wike is saying no, there are some persons that are coming through the window. They are not original members. They have not done so much for this party. It's we, in the sense that have done so much, and we are going to stand by our party regardless of what's happening. But what can PDP do? So I want to look beyond the APC right now. I want to check, what can the PDP do? What can Accord do? What can every other party do to ensure that this situation will be well managed come 2027. We want a competitive election. We don't want just a walkover for any party. We want you to really do the work. We want you to put your neck to the work. We want you to really face whatever you have to face, dance to the beat of whatever you have to dance to, ensure that you do so much to win. We don't just want a walkover for anybody, regardless of party. We want something more competitive in the country.
Okay, speaking of Wike now, I think the current chairman of the People's Democratic Party said something a few days ago to say that those persons that we have expelled and given a certificate of expulsion, we are giving them the right to look for other political parties to join. I mean, maybe it was difficult for them to join, still being members of the party, but then we expelled them for that same reason. So they are free to choose any political party they want to belong to. And then speaking of one-party state, I don't think I want to agree with the fact that Nigeria might actually get to that point of operating one-party system. Why do I say so? Adeleke, for instance, defected to the Accord party. Before that, I think most of the supporters, they go on radio and TV to say that, okay, our principal might actually defect to either Accord or APGA, because obviously PDP, he cannot contest on the PDP. So why am I saying this? After he defected yesterday, you need to go online. I saw comments. Some persons are saying that looking at Accord as a party, let's not forget that Osun is a very peculiar state when it comes to elections. So they are saying that Accord doesn't have that strong political footing in Osun State. Talk about grassroots presence. But then I don't want to agree with them. It's up to Adeleke. I want to believe that, he had good deliberations, because according to him, I read his tweet, because he said, they had to deliberate, extensively, with opinion leaders and, of course, party members to see that, okay, is Accord the way forward? So if he decided to defect to Accord, I think it's up to him. So why am I saying this? Regardless of whatsoever it is that PDP is going through at this time, I still want to agree that the party is dead. Why am I saying so? Because you cannot rule out the fact that when it comes to grassroots presence, honestly, forget it. PDP has it. Yes, APC also has it. And then before now, whatever it is that APC is going through or PDP is going through at this moment in time, APC, or let me say that party that came to all the parties that came together, the CPC, the ACN, they also went through the same thing. There was a time, APC currently has about 25 governors now. There was a time that PDP had something similar, maybe close or even more. So what do you make of that? So it can tilt at any point in time. This is politics. Let's look at the next few years. So we are going to see more defections. I bet it with you that more persons will move to the PDP. They are just waiting for PDP to be settled at this point in time. And looking at maybe the body language, they are still going through a lot. But then before 2027, you see more defections. People will move to the PDP. Because this is politics and interests will always clash. And that's why he said, I don't know, there's one thing that I always say about the APC, because to the public now, apparently that party is settled internally and externally. But I bet it with you that there are problems going on internally. But then APC is so, I don't know how they are doing it. They have a way of making sure that their problems are not obvious to the public. Because to them, it matters to them how people view their political party. But then that is what PDP is lacking. PDP, once anything happens, is out there. They don't know how to settle issues amicably within. And that is what is affecting the party, the ego of the stakeholders of that party. But APC has a way of bringing people together and showing that their problems, doesn't get outside. Not like maybe we don't get to hear about issues going on with the PDP, but it's not so constant like the way we have with PDP and even Labour Party. In the last few months, we've not heard anything about Labour Party, honestly, and it's sad.
But we can also address the issue by saying that, APC is in power as we speak, so they control to a very large extent the media. Yeah. And like you mentioned too, they have a very good PR system, especially in recent times. We've seen how they've been able to coordinate them. So even when they had crisis, even when this present administration started with the fuel subsidy removal, and it became a big deal, and some other party members, some other parties and opposition parties, I meant to say, are trying to use that as a loophole to bring their credibility down. They still held their ground in this sense. So I wanted to speak to what does it take to have a one-party state system in the country? You mentioned about 20 plus governors. How many states do we have in the country? Yes, so if we have, mathematically, we can say that it's a one-party state system that is currently ongoing in the country. Because if we have we have 36 states. So what's the average of 36? Like, for example, let's say if we have 20 is more than average. So it's more than average of, so if you have 20 governors already, that's more likely a one-party state. I might want to maybe posit that because of, mathematically speaking now, because if you have more than half in this party to maybe over 50%, it means like you can speak for the whole, maybe not the general a hasty generalization in a sense, but you can speak like, oh yeah, this is more like a one-party state system. But let me move away from that to speak about Siminalayi Fubara very briefly. Fubara, especially when he had the issue, the suspension of that particular government and how that the president came in, but even before he made this particular notice, I think a couple of days back, he was with the president and they had a conversation in Asurok. Yes, that could also have meant that they sat down to say, okay, so let's check the pros and cons. What can you offer? What can you bring to the table? So everybody puts everything on the table. This is what I have to offer, and this is what we can offer you. So there's an arrangement that would benefit both parties. But let me take it from there to say, Siminalayi Fubara is, some have said it would not really be so outspoken or expressive after the old fracas and the issues that went on behind the scenes and all that. So they said it was not going to be more prominent than it was before. But I guess this is a sharp move, if you ask me, for Fubara to also defect to the party. But I'm still harping on that issue before I round up my thoughts that a one-party state system, I don't think is the best way to go for a democratic society like the Nigerian state that we have currently.
Okay, thank you so much. I think you're very spot on, and it's a fine place to leave it this morning. That okay, we don't want a one-party state, and then we don't want it to happen because we want Nigerians to have choice. So some Nigerians vote for party, some Nigerians vote for individuals. So it is left to the electorate to decide. It's a fine place to leave that discussion this morning. Let's move on to weather reports, and allow me take it from Ekiti, southwest this morning. Weather feels like 23 degrees Celsius, and later this morning is expected to rise to 28 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 2%. In the afternoon, 32 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny around 0%. And in the evening, 24 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 7%. Overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 10%. That's what we have for Ekiti, southwest this morning.
And we'll do Akinyele, that's in your state particularly. The weather is expected to be cloudy, averagely at 24 degrees Celsius. And later in the morning, it rises by 5 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, and it's expected to be mostly cloudy. Then it rises much further by 5 degrees Celsius in the afternoon to 34 degrees Celsius, and it's expected also to be partly cloudy. Then it drops by about say 8 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius, and it's expected to be partly cloudy also in the evening. And overnight, it's expected to be cloudy at 24 degrees Celsius in Akinyele, Oyo State, Nigeria today.
Okay, thank you for staying with us. From there, we move on to Ilorin this morning. Weather feels like 24 degrees Celsius, and later is expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 1%. In the afternoon, 36 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 0%. And in the evening, 28 degrees Celsius, clear around 1%. Overnight, 24 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 7%. That's what we have for Ilorin this morning.
And Lagos is not so much of a difference to Ilorin because he moves 2 notch ahead to 26 degrees Celsius, and it's averagely fair in Lagos, Nigeria today. Then later in the morning, the rises by 3 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, and it's expected to be partly cloudy. The afternoon period of Lagos State today is at 30 degrees Celsius, also expected to be partly cloudy. Then the weather becomes clear in the evening at 28 degrees Celsius, and it's also expected to be partly cloudy, dropping by 1 degree Celsius overnight in Lagos State to 27 degrees Celsius today.
All right, from there, let's cross over to Port Harcourt, Rivers. Weather this morning feels like 21 degrees Celsius. Later is expected to rise to 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 1%. In the afternoon, 29 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 4%. In the evening, 23 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 7%. And overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, around 11%. And that's what we have for Port Harcourt, Rivers this morning.
And I'm still staying with the southwest, particularly Abeokuta South. Now, Ogun State, the weather feels cloudy at 25 degrees Celsius. And later it rises by 4 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, expected to be mostly cloudy. And afternoon, 34 degrees Celsius, expected to be sunny as well. And later in the evening, it drops to 27 degrees Celsius, also expected to be partly cloudy. Then it drops much further by 2 degrees Celsius overnight to 25 degrees Celsius, expected also to be partly cloudy in Abeokuta South, Ogun State today.
All right, that's how far we can go this morning on this particular segment. Thank you for staying with us. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll take the news. Please stay with us.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominioncast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Hello and welcome to Daybreak News on Dominion Television. My name is Anulu Akpo Edo. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has requested the Senate approval to deploy Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin following a recent coup attempt in the country. In the letter, the president cited Section 5, Subsection 5, Part 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended and indicated that in consultation with the National Defense Council, it seeks the Senate's consent for the troop deployment. After reading the letter, Akpabio committed the president's request for consent to the Committee of the Whole for immediate action. The Senate then gave its approval for President Bola Tinubu's request to send Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin as part of efforts to help restore calm and stability after last weekend's attempted military takeover. The federal government and state governors have reaffirmed their commitment to closing Nigeria's widening education financing gap, unveiling a renewed push for safer, better funded schools aimed at improving access, learning outcomes, and long-term national development. Represented by Special Advisor on General Duties, Aliyu Umar, in Abuja at the maiden edition of the 2025 Nigeria Education Forum, Vice President Kashim Shettima stressed the need for Nigeria to shift from government-only funding to a more collaborative, innovative, and resilient financing model. The forum, convened by Nigeria Governors Forum, the Federal Ministry of Education, the Committee of States Commissioners for Education, and other partners, seeks to assess the current state of the sector and develop practical solutions for its improvement. Shettima urged private sector players, alumni associations, philanthropists, and local communities to co-invest in schools, research, and innovation hubs. Moving on, the federal government has said that Nigeria's current security challenges are not religious in nature, insisting that concerted efforts are being made to tackle terrorism and all forms of violent extremism across the country. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, a senior advocate of Nigeria, made this known in Abuja while addressing journalists after a closed-door meeting with a United States Congressman and United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr. While the AGF noted the meeting was to address further insecurity bedeviling the country, he added that the meeting was an opportunity for the federal government to present its perspective on terrorism and insecurity in Nigeria and to allow the visiting U.S. lawmaker to assess the situation firsthand. He stressed that although Nigeria faces a substantial security challenge, they are not driven by religious considerations. The Senate has summoned the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, alongside key industry stakeholders for an urgent meeting following widespread public concern over the sharp rise in domestic airfares. The resolution followed a motion raised by Senator Buhari Abdul Fatai, who warned that the escalating prices could disrupt travel ahead of the festive season. He also cited that the one-way ticket from Abuja to Lagos now ranges between 400,000 naira and 600,000 naira, a price he says many Nigerians can no longer afford. He added that the situation is particularly troubling given the growing concern and insecurity challenge on major highways. The Senate ultimately directed Minister Keyamo, airline operators, regulators, and other stakeholders to appear before the relevant committees this week to explain the fare hikes and propose measures to stabilize prices. And now in Oyo State, the Olubado of Ibadan land, Oba Rashidi Ladoja Arisa I, has said it is easier to serve as a governor than to function as a traditional ruler. The monarch, who is also a former governor of Oyo State, made the remark while receiving the Oniru of Iru, Lagos State Oba Wasiu Lawal at his Bodija residence in Ibadan. Oba Ladoja explained that the government officials have coercive powers and clearly defined structures for funding, unlike monarchs who operate without such advantages. He added that the absence of a constitutional role for traditional rulers makes their responsibilities even more demanding despite their closeness to the grassroots, also noting that the expectations of the people concerning the Olubadan stool are very high. As the 2025 Christmas Fiesta of Dominion Broadcast Group, DBG, continues to gather momentum from December 1 to 24, parents, guardians, and school owners in Ibadan and beyond have been encouraged to allow their children and wards participate in the enriching experience. The management of Dominion Broadcast Group described the experience as highly impactful, adding that such a practical exposure helps build confidence, enhances communication skills, and broadens the career outlook of the pupils beyond the classroom. The maiden edition of the DBG Christmas Fiesta, currently ongoing, offers a range of exciting packages including guided station tours and opportunities to meet seasoned on-air personalities, all at an affordable fee of 3,000 naira. Away now from Oyo State to Rivers State, where Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) from the People's Democratic Party (PDP). The governor announced his defection at a stakeholders meeting held at the Government House in Port Harcourt, Rivers State.
I know you've been expecting to hear from me, and more especially in this meeting that I had to arrange so urgently. But the meeting is going to end with a very sweet information. You are aware that I went to see Mr. President yesterday, and the reason why I went for that visit is not just a personal visit, but a state interest consultation. I don't want to make any mistake this time around. I wish also not to step on any landmine that anyone is laying for us. So I was with Mr. President yesterday to brief you on the situation of things in our states.
Fubara's defection came 4 days after the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amaewhule, and 17 others dumped the PDP for the APC on December 5, blaming their departure from the PDP on the crisis in the party. And now in business, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is intending to lift agricultural lending above the current level of less than 5% for banks' credit, with Governor Olayemi Cardoso declaring that agriculture must receive its rightful place in the financial system and national priorities. Cardoso, who spoke in Abuja at the inauguration of the newly constituted Board of the Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund, lamented that agriculture remained the backbone of the economy, contributing more than 1/5 of GDP, yet it receives only a small fraction of formal credit. According to him, the chronic underfunding has stifled productivity and expansion for millions of farmers, adding that the revised act now provides for a board composed not only of government officials but also of farmers' representatives. And finally, in sports, former Super Eagles star Tijani Babangida says Nigeria winning the title at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations won't make up for the disappointment of the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Babangida believes winning the tournament should appease the fans despite being drawn in Group C with Tunisia, Tanzania and Uganda. The West Africans will face the Taifa Stars of Tanzania in their opening fixture in Fez on Tuesday, 23 December. And that's about it on Daybreak News. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And that's Daybreak News. I am Anoluakpo Idogu. Thank you for watching.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB event today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok @Dominion Broadcast and on X @DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Sometimes on the papers, what we have is pick me, pick me, pick me, but we have to pick one of them. And the major story we'll be picking is all about the PDP saga still in, maybe on the table, for lack of a better word, to say the issue has been ongoing and is still biting hard. And that's something we are going to check out on this very segment of newspaper headlines and analysis, where we check into the stories, the high points, the low points, and the major trends across the news platforms today. And we have the Punch newspaper with me, as well as many other papers, to go around and see the stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And talking about governors versus NNPC is also a story that's making the front page the largest caption on that particular newspaper this morning. The Punch newspaper says tension rise over alleged $42 billion oil revenue shortfall. That is a big caption right on the Punch newspaper, as you can see this morning. And also the right top corner says PDP rages as Fubara joins APC. A delicate shift to Accord. Movement, defections, all of that in the news. We'll get into the conversation shortly. ECOWAS fears coup surge. Burkina Faso holds Nigerian soldiers. Also something we've been on for a while now. Reps summon ministers over budget underperformance. Another story quite worthy of read this morning. Vanguard newspaper is what I switch on to very quickly. And what is the Vanguard reporting on its front page this morning? It says airspace violations. That's talking, maybe we would say bilateral relations or lack of communication between two countries, neighboring countries. Now, Nigeria, Sahel states differ over detained aircraft soldiers. And that's also the big story, as you can see on airspace violations on the Vanguard newspaper. Federal government limits bidders to 2 oil blocks. That is also in the world of business, something to check out this morning. Nigeria-US ties re-treasured robust. And that's another read this morning. Adeleke moves to Accord. Fubara joins APC. That's talking defection and party politics today. Kidnapping children, lesser even than killing soldiers. That's coming from Gumi. Sheikh Gumi saying kidnapping children is lesser evil than killing soldiers. Anyway, we'll check into all of that. Insecurity is also making the waves on the Vanguard newspaper. It says box stops on your desk. Onaye con Sheikh Lemu. Can others tell Tinubu? And that is what we're going to check out this one. Now let's get into the analysis proper with Afolami this morning. Joining us for this conversation. Hello, good morning to you, Afolami.
Good morning, my brother. It's good to be here again.
I mean, it's so good to have you in the studio. Many reasons I'm excited about this because I love it when I see concerned persons, patriotic Nigerians speak to the issue on the table, because it's our responsibility as much as it is the people in power. So let's get started with the story yesterday's being on in the news. Now, there seems to be the Nigerian army came out to say yesterday, especially about that situation, the fighter jet that was seized, and then 11 members of the Nigerian army that were detained in Burkina Faso. So the Nigerian army came out to say that it was just like it was an issue with the landing and all of that, that it was logistic. They
detected an issue while after leaving Lagos, and they had to make a stopover. They had to make
an emergency. So it wasn't pre-planned and all that. But, one of the statements released by the Burkina Faso, because we know it's also a junta-led military government kind of rule in the country. And we've seen also that Nigeria is so akin or so close to the ECOWAS. ECOWAS is also sanctioning every state that is doing that: Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and all of them. So we know that. So I think one of the release statements yesterday was that if this happens another time, that the Burkina Faso might be forced to use force on any kind of infiltration, because they might see it as a way of you trying to come and
infiltrate on them.
Exactly. Yeah. So the issue is still breaking. Now, Nigeria's Sahel states differ over detained aircraft and then soldiers. Nigerian military aircraft violated Burkina Faso airspace. That's coming from the Sahelian states. Yes. That's what they are saying. And how France also helped Benin for a coup d'etat. That's also another story. But let's talk about this issue. How should we have done this better, especially the Nigerian army, instead of falling into this crisis? Is this something we could have managed or prevented?
Well, thank you for that wonderful question. Is it from my own angle as a Nigerian? I have seen it as a point where the Burkina Faso is being guided by their own territory. The guy there, as a military head of state, understood what politics is all about, and they understand that the country is under ECOWAS, but because of their own determination to salvage their country, to free their people, according to them, they felt the military rule is better than the civilian rule. And so, and you should understand that of recent we have a foil coup that was in Benin Republic, yes. And Nigeria was moved to that country to support the military and the democratic government there in order to foil that kind of the attempted coup. And that is a signal to all other countries whose governments are being led by military rule. And now you have Nigerian fighter jets flying on approved over a particular territory, and in this case, the Burkina Faso. And you should understand that alone may lead to they being very guided to say, come, there is something you are coming around here to do. It's just a simple mathematics. And that guy there is on ground. He has his guys on ground. The story we are hearing may be true, may not be true. But to me, I don't see that story to be true, because our country is trying to come up to be the leader or the giant African, the former known giant of Africa. They have done that of the Benin Republic. they see that the credit to them, they want to do what they felt they can do to other led military countries too. You know, if that continues, if Benin Republic succeeded in getting the military on board, Nigeria is not safe. That's the simple truth, because it shows that our neighboring countries are already being led by military rule. And of recent, we hear it either rumor or counterfeit. Nigeria had a coup of recent that was being foiled, and those guys involved were being arrested. And those coups were not just done on empty pockets. They were done being funded. Some people funded it. We just heard of the military that were being arrested. We don't know the name till date, but some people funded this particular coup. So who are the funding fathers who are bankrolling this particular case? So if this is not known to Nigerians, it is known to some top security people, and especially neighboring countries who understood that yes, Nigeria is on the verge of, you know, losing their democratic structure, and that they want also to guide their own led country. You understand? That is what is going on, and I love the way they sounded back to Nigeria to say, if peradventure the next time we discover this, we will not let it go without being taken care of properly. I think that is a good signal.
Okay, so let's talk party politics for one of time. I want you to speak on this issue. Speak to the issue of Fubara. It was, well, for some persons it was shocking. Maybe for some of us it wasn't really shocking.
No,
Fubara and then Adeleke. Adeleke to accord, Fubara to APC. Yeah. What do you make of all of this?
Fubara should have gone to APC before now. I think one of the parts that was signed was that yes, we'll get you back, but you are coming back to us.
You think it's part of the part that was signed?
I think that was that part of the part, because at every time Fubara, after the coming back of Fubara, you will see him praising the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's saying even more than the Messiah, who have helped his government to have a stay and make him to come back to power. Yes, Fubara has seen it as a way of praising the president more. And you see, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu that I know, that have led government in Lagos State, that have run government as ACN-led leader, that have taken the Southwest to be ACN before they come back to APC. I know him to be somebody who will never be in power and like to have so many opposition like that. He's somebody who will do everything to make sure that there is no opposition at all. In Lagos, while he was the president, the governor then, he had sleeping party, sleeping opposition. In fact, we can go to records to tell you that by the time he was a governor, he intentionally made some people to sit at the opposition to be as not only the party contesting. And we saw that. We saw that in the lives of PDP that was in Lagos at that time. We saw the way they moved from Lagos to Ogun State, from Ogun State to Oyo State to Osun State, and even to Edo State, ACN everywhere. So while the impeachment that led to the crisis in Cross River State that brought in a new interim administrator and take away Fubara, we not bring back Fubara without having to tell Fubara that we come bring back, you are going to join us, and that is the part. So when Adeleke is having such, the crisis in Adeleke's case was at the result of the convention. He has seen it all. You know, he has his own. He has his own legal team who will have looked into all the crises. If he contested under PDP, what will be his case? It's very simple. His case will be that he will go to the court and face the wrath of the law concerning the convention that has been annulled, that has not been properly done, and that will let out, that will make him to lose his seat. So it's better he go to another party. And you know, the Adeleke, as I know, has seen it all. You know, concerning the party itself, APC, they already have a pocket of crisis in their own state. To now move to APC, for where the likes of Omishore is, and many others like that, that are trying to take over government, it's not going to be easy. A soft landing for Adeleke is the party he has found himself. And that party has always been a soft landing for so many people, because it was as a thought of Babasanjo when the crisis in PDP then was high, and Baba break out the accord. Okay, if you think you are powerful, this is another party. Go and make yourself. So you can see even in Oyo State here, we had it for our minister for power, and still minister for power, the Adilabayo Adilabu. When the party was in crisis, you found Accord as a party to go into as a soft landing party, and contest. And it will be surprising that somebody who lost that far could be given the ticket for Minister for Power. You can understand. So that is just the case. So I have seen it that Adeleke will not contest on the platform of PDP. Many people will not, if the crisis in PDP has not been resolved. Many people will not.
So let me try to put into context what you're trying to say. You've said that he acted on intelligence.
Yes.
But yes, briefly too, what is the possibility of him winning, especially in Osun State?
No, he's going to win. That is done today. Adeleke will come back winning this party
with Accord.
I'm telling you, the Accord is just the name. If it is if it is Accord that we look at, the people are looking at competency right now. Even the people in APC are having problem. Many people that will not be given the ticket will block out into another party. And I want to tell you that many of them will still join Adeleke in that Accord party. It is just like Accord party will now be a constitution of all the PDP in Osun State. It's not only Adeleke that is going to Accord. It's not that it's going to start looking for who will be contesting under a particular ward or a particular constituency, who will be representing for a local government, who will be at the particular, every of his cabinet are moving into Accord. And that makes it all. And for the people that are still struggling for APC, many of them will lose out and they will looking for where to go. He has made his own name. He has made his own record. He has played his part. The role at which the development at which Adeleke has put up in Osun State is there. And people will not forget the house salary case. They will never forget the crisis they faced under Aregbesola. Did they forget easily the one they faced under the government after Aregbesola? So it's a clear case. Leave the party apart. This is Adeleke contesting. And this is whoever they are bringing out from APC. Now it is done that Accord already have their own candidate. There is not going to be any so much primary. If there is going to be primary, it's going to be for a ceremonial primary. They know who their candidate is. If the APC is there to know who their candidate is. If PDP has known, the guy from PDP, Frayo, has a record too. So we're going to see personality more than party playing off in Osun State.
All right, that was taken. Before we move over from political politics very briefly, how does this play out between Fubara and Nyesom Wike?
Well, it's an Accord. It's a resolved party. That is what Wike is looking for.
Because Wike is still in the PDP.
Who? Wike?
He said it just recently.
No, somebody said it too, that Wike was planted to destroy the party that he was.
So do you think it was planted?
I know. This is politics. A lot of game goes on in politics that we can see bear the normal highs. And that is the truth. Some people are being planted to go and infiltrate. Some are spy. Some have go there, contest, and come back. Look at what happened in Oyo State. The Minister for Power that was drawn into Accord and all his guys alongside with him. He lost the party. He lost the election. He's far below the second runner-up. The first runner-up, which is Teslim Falarin. But instead of Teslim, who lost under APC to be the minister, they picked him up. It's a way of divide and rule. Wike knew what he's doing, but why I will not all the time pity this APC party, PDP party, and the Wike and stuff was that they were all alive when their party was drowning and then pulling down the party in the likes of Jonathan, Ebele Jonathan, while he was contesting there. The 5 group of people who brought down the party, who brought down the man, were the 5 group of people who were being beaten very, very well in this last election. And I love it. There's nothing we do that Kama will not speak on this. People want to see the Kama as a human being, somebody that will just appear to, it is the reflection of what you have planted.
What you have planted.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that Nigeria is planting now. Senate approves Tinubu's request to deploy troops in Benin Republic. So there's been that claim. Some persons, let me just state also that community in the state of emergency, ECOWAS warns as cool. coups, insecurity deepen regional crisis, applauds Nigeria for foiling Benin coup attempts, and Burkina Faso did not ground NAF, and that's coming from NAF clarifying that. But yes, let's talk to the issue. Let's speak to the issue very briefly of the Senate approving Tinubu's request to deploy troops to Benin Republic. So the conversation has been that, do we have enough troops that can help foil attempted coup? That's one. So if we have that, why are those particular troops not able to salvage the whole insecurity situation in the country? So speak to that issue briefly.
But that is a very question that everybody wants to ask our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If we so much have these guys that we can take to Benin Republic to go and salvage coup over there and make sure that the country, Benin Republic, is safe, why don't we have them salvaging our insecurity in Nigeria? Why do we have our military men to come out boldly to tell us that over 1,000, over 10,000 youths they recruited into the army has vanished, and asking our youth to be prepared to come in by application or be forced to come in? Why? Why are we having this kind of people? Why do we have the kind of House of Assembly that will always want to raise up their hands and say they may have it in just to support Benin Republic to come in and to bring our military into that? Why? Why all this? It shows our leaders the kind of priority they are holding on Nigerians. It's not enough. It's not good enough. I personally, I want to believe that at this time it is going to be in record, so that when external forces come into Nigeria, to see Nigeria as a big African country that will not collapse, so that it will not become a problem on other countries, and they felt that they can come in. I want to believe that our president is putting up a good record that will come tomorrow. It will be that this is what led to other neighboring countries, especially foreign countries, coming down to Nigeria to salvage our insecurity without their consent, without taking into consideration that their sovereignty is not in this case. So I don't see why we're doing this. If those countries felt that the military-led government is what they will prefer, let them have it. We've seen what is going on in Burkina Faso and other countries like that. And if our country, we want to see continued democracy, that is our own cup of tea. So, for one, I'm not in support. Because that thing is not going for free. There will be money that will be also doling out for it. Nothing goes for free, my brother. The way they will mobilize, I was not very young when we mobilized for Liberia, for all these troops then. We know how much we invested into it. We know how much we do to put up these military guys. And let me tell you, even if they will go there, you cannot tell me that everybody that went there will come back alive. And in case anything happens, those ones that died on our own surface here, on our own ground here, what has been done to their families and friends? What has been taken care of? What has been family taken? We see so many videos. One of them, the wife was crying on the social media, asking for help, and nothing was done. And want Nigeria youth to go and recruit to go and get into that kind of military? I don't understand. Why can't we just take care of our own land and mind our own business?
Yeah, you've made very valid point, especially if we have to count losses.
I'm telling you.
Even for this financial and then lives of people as well that we are putting on the ground. I mean, but again, I think if Nigeria is trying to be a leader in the African state, in the African system, I think it's not, well, maybe it's not too much of a price to pay, but we also have to deal with what we have that is currently, eating us very badly.
This leader that you call is another problem that is facing us. Are we leaders of Africa? Can we boast of the kind of security team that we have? Are we leaders of Africa? Are we really leaders right now? If you know the numbers of guys that leave this country, and you can see yourself the way they advertise on TikTok, telling you Venezuela, this and that, everybody come and work, come. Even if it is to be on farm, come and work. And we have farm here that we can't go there to work because of insecurity. Are we leaders? Are we just leaders because we have the mouth? We can be on the social media, we can come before the mic and talk. It's not fair enough.
Yeah, let's speak to something happened just yesterday at the Senate level, and then Senate's condemning the abysmal rise in airfares, and someone, Minister of Fan and Airline, Festus Keyamo also, and some other persons were actually called because one ticket equals 5 months minimum wage. That's coming from the Senate president. So an average from Lagos to Abuja costs about 400,000 to 600,000 naira now.
Yes.
There's an increment. Well, they gave reasons, but some would say those are not tenable reasons. Those are just like excuses to make to extort people again, especially for the festive period. Now the major highways are not so safe. People need to travel.
Yeah.
You can't stop people from going for their family, whatever their reunion.
There is no
December.
festival again for this season.
Who
is going on? On road? Then you are getting there. Immediately you are leaving to your place. The nearest place to Oyo is Kwara. It's very dangerous. I have been to Eruku so many times. I know the place like I know my palm. My brother, it's dangerous to drive down. So if you don't, every state is now looking for an airline, an airport where people can
flight line. Yes.
So that is where they are making their money now. Just like they destroy our educational system from the public to build up the private. That is what is that is my own opinion. That's what I'm seeing. Our insecurity on the road is making people to force themselves to go on. In short, the crowd for local airline is even more than the international airline. Because everybody, at least, you want to go to Abuja, you want to go to Sokoto, maybe you want to go to Kwara from Lagos, and it's becoming very dangerous for you to ply the road from Lagos to Ilorin. It's very bad.
So very briefly, just like you said, speak to the aviation ministry to help Nigerians at least.
Is it the aviation ministry?
Well, they were the ones that were summoned by the Senate yesterday.
What would they say?
They were the ones in charge of that.
The regulatory price, and they do it. They know that people will be shifted back to flights.
But owing to insecurity reasons now, I think that's a thing to think about.
And our railway line is not also very functioning. If a rail line can be hijacked, we saw it, and we heard the report after it that some people got millions of naira after being paying ransom to the Boko Haram guys. They got money. So what are we saying? This thing is the buck is still on the table of the president and his ministers. These are the people who could have come together to say this is what we want. If we can talk, if the military and this DSS can phone the guys in the bush to say, yeah, release, and they release. They could only release. Are they released on bare mouth? Are they released because they received the call? So if that call can go through and the call cannot be traced, and those guys that are released cannot be captured or arrested, then there is a problem. That is a problem. That is where the problem lies. So those guys, those ones that were fortunate to be released, were because of the trailing by or monitoring by the government. But what about those that were not known by the government? They were captured. So these are the problem. I want to believe that the aviation minister is not doing us well at a time like this. They should put their head together to see how we can kill insecurity. I mean, kill insecurity in Nigeria, so as to have everybody. Not everybody will have the money to fly to their villages. And if we continue to do this, then we are killing our culture, we are killing our tradition, we are saying goodbye to our homes, even when we have sojourned to look for what to eat.
Afolabi, thank you very much for joining us.
My brother,
You've made very valid points.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, thank you very much. Of course, we now switch focus to the big story. And you want to know what's on the big story? Please stay with us. After this break, we'll be back shortly.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok @Dominion Broadcast and on X @DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok @Dominion Broadcast and on X @DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Power exercised without restraint, even in the name of stability, often creates the very instability it claims to prevent. Good morning and welcome to Big Story, a critical segment on Daybreak Live, where we interrogate the issues shaping Nigeria's present and determining the future. Please stay with us this morning. Today's conversation centers on a decision that has stirred deep national debate and public unease. Beyond borders, Senate approval of President Tinubu's troop deployment request and Nigeria's evolving role in African unity. In response to a reported security threat and attempted overthrow in the Republic of Benin, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu authorized a Nigerian military intervention. The Senate has since granted its approval, yet for many Nigerians, this decision raises more questions than reassurance. At a time when insecurity persists within Nigeria's borders, economic pressures mount, and democratic trust is fragile, many citizens are asking, was this intervention necessary? Was it urgent? And more importantly, who truly benefit? Does Nigeria's leadership role in West Africa justify external military commitment when internal stability remains elusive? Or is this another example of executive power stretching itself under the cover of regional responsibility? Joining us to unpack all of these are two voices with deeply informed perspectives. We have Honorable Kunle Olatade, Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to Senator Yunus Akintade, and former Special Assistant on Media to the late former Governor of your state, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, and of course Ignatius Bosalime Ofino, Public Affairs Analyst and Researcher. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Big Story this beautiful morning. Welcome on board.
Good morning. Thank you very much. And to our listeners at home, we'll say wonderful morning to everyone of us. Thank you.
All right. Let me start with you, Honorable. I have this question that says many Nigerians are actually unsettled about, how Nigerian government responded to what is going on in Benin, and for the fact that fighter deaths were also sent to this to the country. A lot of Nigerians are saying if care is not taken, Nigeria might blame herself for this. And then recently, the Senate also approved the fact that Nigeria can send troops to Benin. And then the initial, troops that were sent there, about 9 military armed men, and of course 2 crew members have been seized. I'm talking about Burkina Faso now, but still talking about Benin. Do you think it was right, for Nigeria to actually do that without, getting to inform the country initially?
Well, we first must commend the presidency for the quick intervention as regards the Benin challenge, when the president sent in the letter of request to send Nigerian troops to intervene in the insurgency, military coup, specifically military coup attempts in Benin. And don't forget that Nigeria occupies a very significant role as the big brother in the ECOWAS community, so to say, whereby the integration system requires that all member states should rise up to the occasion when such situation, occurs. Therefore, when the president sent in later, the Article 5, subsection 5, sub 5, and Part 2 of the Nigeria Constitution, as amended in 1999, requires that the president should send such letter of request to send Nigerian troops outside the country when such situation arises. And with immediate response, the Senate responded quickly, and of course not with serious debate, though, because of the emergency situation requires. Therefore, it's a good thing that Nigeria really came out to defend that situation in the sub-region. The sub-region has experienced some form of instability in recent times, and therefore, if Nigeria had responded the way they responded to Benin issue, probably Burkina Faso would be a different story today, and some other, Guinea-Bissau too had recently had such a very unpleasant experience. When the whole world is going democratic process, why should West Africa be behind the system? So I think for me it was a good thing Nigeria responded quickly, and the Senate too must be appreciated for that quick response. It shows that if truly we want to get things done in Nigeria, we have the capacity to do it. So in terms of efficiency, in terms of commitment, in terms of determination, and in terms of our capacity, I think Nigeria demonstrated capacity to manage that issue. However, when you raise the question of concerns of Nigeria as regards What about our internal challenges? How can we justify that quick response, to external aggression, external issue, to our challenge of close about 15 years now? I've been battling with insecurity within the system. It calls for serious concern, and I think while appreciating the step taken on the Beninese matter, we would have expected that Nigerian government should, step up its action to manage the internal crisis of insurgency, banditry, and terrorism. It is a critical challenge that most of us are bothered. So it's going to be difficult for Nigerians to place that, good initiative, excellent initiative. Let me use the word excellent initiative to manage external crisis while your house is burning. It's a question of your house, your rooftop is leaking, and you are helping some people to build their own mansion. So I think it's important for us to appreciate the urgency and the necessary intervention we need internally now. We can't be having sleepless nights in Nigeria, having our challenges in Nigeria, and then helping our neighbor state country to manage their problem. But don't forget that if we did not do what we did, if Nigeria did not rise up to that occasion, there are consequences as well too for us as a nation. Okay. For instance, you have the problem of all this banditry challenge of inflow of armed infiltration from neighboring countries, because we know from research, from assessment, that part of the problem we have in Boko Haram, all this insurgency problem, was because these neighboring countries, if they are not stable, will be opportunity for infiltration of armed banditries and armed components, guns, and what have you.
You mentioned something very cogent. Do you think it's a little bit different, because the Niger coup, for instance, it was more of, okay, we are going to sanction you, and then they were even threatened to say there might be military intervention, but nothing of when it sort of happened, okay, sending troops to Niger. So don't you think that there's a kind of external influence in this, in terms of how Nigeria was able to respond very swiftly to what is going on in Benin?
Well, like I mentioned earlier on, I am of the opinion that if Nigeria had acted very promptly and swiftly, like it's acted on this issue of Benin, on Niger challenge, on Burkina Faso challenge, because don't forget that in actual fact, Nigeria is very strong militarily in Africa. I might not compare Nigeria with the likes of America, France, and what have you, so the big players. But when it comes to African issue, don't underestimate the capacity of this country. We're strong. And, we have been able to demonstrate it now, even recently in our internal crisis, that we have the capacity to manage our problems. What we're lacking is a political will, like you mentioned, the issue of external influence on some of these issues. And internally, we have a lot of people that have the personal interest that is causing the problem. But for us, external influence and internal influences put together would help you to reshapen your capacity, to also display your capacity to manage your problem. In the case of our internal crisis now, don't forget the influence of America now recently. When America raised a voice, suddenly Nigeria started performing. So some of these things, there are interplays of international politics and all of this. I can't rule it out. We can't rule that out. But specifically, I believe strongly that Nigeria has the capacity. Don't forget the ECOWAS treaty also give that privilege to member nations to support each other in times of crisis. So we have really done well. If we had done the same thing, if this country had risen up to the challenges of the earlier countries I mentioned, I believe that we probably would not get to this level in international, sub-region, insurgency and military coup. It's becoming an embarrassing thing that we are going back to such days of that we have put behind us several years back. Nigeria has done well now, 25 years of democracy, sustained without without military intervention. And believe me, sincerely speaking, if you look at the history of Africa, especially Nigeria, in terms of military intervention, it has drawn us back severally. There's no way you can compare the worst of a democratically elected government to the best of military intervention. There's no way. They're not comparable, because one, you won't ask military regime, you won't ask them questions. They're not accountable to anybody. But the democratic process are accountable to everybody. You can even talk to your president, make demands for the presidency and raise questions, raise issues. In the military system, who born you? So permit me to use that word. How dare you? So that is the essence of democracy, and it's if we do not manage that Benin problem, and we do not take in that, I still believe that strong sanctions should be placed on Nigeria and Burkina Faso, so that
they formed the alliance of Sahel state already.
As much as possible, if you do not check this interregnum, you are going to be having regional crisis. Most countries will go the same way. And don't forget, recently too, there were rumors of coup in Nigeria as well too. So it's the same trend. If it happened somewhere, a sister country, you didn't manage it, you're probably going to expect. So the spillover is is a reality. So if you're not careful, and if you do not manage it like that, you would just begin to see that Ghana will go same way, some other countries will go same way, and then you can't manage, the whole sub-region will now become militarized. So, and that's not good for our democracy.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll come back to you. Let me turn to Fido now. Let's talk about the Senate. A lot of Nigerians are saying the Senate approval, is more like a rubber stamp, executive power. Do you believe that legislature exercise sufficient scrutiny, before granting consent? Because I watched the video yesterday, and Akpabio said, the letter was sent to the Senate and then it's not up for debate. The only thing that was needed was the consent of the Senate, so that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can actually send troops, to Benin Republic.
Thank you very much, Yimi. No country that is sovereign has any constitutional right to invade another sovereign country. I repeat again, no sovereign country has that constitutional power to invade another sovereign country. There is one thing you must understand. There is a secret deal between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the Republic of Nigeria and President Emmanuel Macron of the Republic of France. Republic of Benin happened to be a French colony. Niger happened to be a French colony. Mali happened to be a French colony. Burkina Faso happened to be a French colony. Nigeria is an Anglophone country. Now there was an issue on ground. Every coup that happened in Africa, who caused it? It was bad administration from the civilian government. They were responsible for military intervention. Let me give you an example in Nigeria in 1963. The Wild West that happened. We are not the one that invited the military to take over. We have to be honest to ourselves. Nigerian foreign policy is centered on non-alignment. And what does it mean? Nigeria is going to be a friend to every country in the world. Now we have 5 superpowers. The United States, we have China, we have Russia, we have United Kingdom too. And France happen to be the Super 5. And they all have interest in Africa. So there is a problem on ground for now. There is armed conflict in Africa being caused by the West. The scrabble for power. There is one thing Jefferson said. He said, when government fear the people, there is liberty. He said, but when the people fear government, there is tyranny. To me, for now, there is a problem on ground. When there was military intervention in Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, the citizens of this country, they celebrated because they wanted what we call greater freedom, economic freedom. At the end of the day, our own president, who happened to be the chairman of ECOWAS, then decided to do what? Decided to threaten this two countries, that they are going to place them on sanction and they are going to invade. You don't have any constitutional right to invade a sovereign country. What happened intervening in the issue of Republic of Benin is because there was a deal between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and President Emmanuel Macron of France. There are some things we are not going to see on this platform. There is no secret anywhere. Now, France as a country has lost 3, they have lost 6 colonies already. Madagascar is a French colony. There is a military junta in Madagascar now. Now in Mali, a military junta is ruling. And in Burkina Faso, the same thing. In Niger, the same thing. France as a country is not happy. Probably France want to use Nigeria as an ally to attack. So I will say it on this platform. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not drag Nigeria to war against any neighboring state in Africa.
Fino, I have a question for you. You said something. Don't you think that Nigeria is being referred to as the anchor of security, especially in West Africa, in the 1990s?
Nigeria is a regional power.
Okay, would you allow me
in West Africa.
Yes.
Regional power. I remember Nigeria intervened in Liberia crisis.
And Sierra Leone.
Yeah, and also in Sierra Leone. There was ECOWAS.
Okay.
The ECOWAS was there. There was a standby army there, a standing army. ECOWAS was there.
Yes.
So you cannot take a unilateral decision. For Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to have taken that unilateral decision, that shows that there was a deal between him and President Emmanuel Macron of France. I stand to be corrected. There is no secret anywhere. But our president must be very careful. You know when Trump, my friend, was threatening that he's going to invade Nigeria, a lot of us raised eyebrow against Trump. That Trump does not have any constitutional power to invade a sovereign country like Nigeria. And for now, it is still pending. Then how come Nigeria now decided to break the rules and decide to invade another country? That they are trying to stop military intervention. Military they will not just wake up to take over power. It is the civilian that has been the problem in Africa. Most corruption comes from civilian government.
But Ofino, in Nigeria, there was a palace school that had nothing to do with governance. It was majorly within the military because some junior officers felt that some senior officers were enjoying so much and then they were benefiting too much. So there was a palace school.
There is one thing you must understand in case of Nigeria. There is what we call mutiny.
Okay.
Military insubordination.
Okay.
They are no longer obeying orders from their superior officers because their life is being put on the front line. A lot of conspiracy. During the days of Major General Muhammadu Buhari, there was infiltration in the Nigerian army. Repentant Boko Haram were absorbed into the Nigerian army. I stand to be corrected. That is why I keep saying it over and over again. God may decide to forgive Buhari, but can history and Nigeria ever forgive Buhari as a president? So that there is something that is so complex in Nigerian situation now. Nigeria army for now is infiltrated. So now there was this issue of Boko Haram started as what? A local terrorist group. Nigeria was unable to do what? To conquer them. Do you know there was a time Boko Haram was able to overrun some of our territories and they hoisted their flags? Are we still not having the issue of banditry? Have the government been able to solve the problem of banditry? You didn't solve the problem of terrorism. You didn't solve the problem of banditry, which is peculiar to you, which is also discouraging foreign direct investment. Now you now decided to go and intervene on the issue of Niger, on the issue of Republic of Benin. That shows that there is a deal, a secret deal between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria and President Emmanuel Macron of France.
Okay, let me turn to Honorable now. Now that the president has been on certain things to ensure that there is peace in Benin, how do you think they can manage this? Because according to some analysts, if care is not taken, Nigeria might be dragged into something very, very dire if care is not taken because of how we are handling this matter. Don't forget, we still have the alliance society that comprise of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, and I don't think they're going to fold their hands, looking at what is going on.
Yes, international politics is a very dynamic, let me not use the word complex system, okay, but that requires diplomacy and efficient management of information. You have to be very certain that the steps you are taking as a country, you're not contravening international laws. That is very critical. I agree absolutely that sovereign states, should enjoy that maximum capacity to manage their problems. But there's no country in the world that stays in isolation. There is interaction in terms of connecting each other and supporting each other when there is crisis. The step Nigeria took in terms of intervention in Benin, the Republic of Benin matter, is based on ECOWAS treaties that has that established organized structure that when there is a crisis somewhere, all the countries that within the sub-region should come together. Unfortunately, in recent times, Nigeria I think we have only Nigeria, Ghana, and Togo out of the major, I think Liberia as well, out of the major countries that are in the West African sub-region. Okay. Burkina Faso has gone the way of military intervention, military regime. Niger has gone the same way. And so much so, and it's taking a trend that is not pleasant for us. I still maintain that position that Africa should evolve. Africa is an evolving continent in terms of democratic processes, and we probably need to redefine our own democracy. Though I agree with that, to suit our purposes, our style, and our heritage as a continent. We have there are lots of differences within the way we manage that. We used to have our own democratic system in the past, in our traditional values and systems, but those have been compromised, bringing in Western concepts of democracy. However, if we do not manage it very well, intervention might be necessary. Sovereignty is important, and maintaining legal system, working within the legal system that is approved internationally is critical to avoid going into crisis that you cannot manage, because some of these little problems could lead into manageable situation that war is probably inevitable. For instance, if Burkina Faso as they are threatening now, brimstone and fire, and questioning Nigerian intervention in Benin matter. Yes, people out of lack of understanding and ignorance of the people, of the populace, might think that military intervention is necessary when these civilians are misbehaving in governance. History will always record that military intervention in Nigeria is basically, like rightly positioned, is anchored on poor management of resources and bad administration in most of these countries.
But there are merits of military intervention in Nigeria, are there not?
They're not. You cannot. Sincerely speaking, I've been around for a while, my dear sister. I've been around for a while, and I can tell you, without being immodest, that the worst. Like I repeat, the worst of civilian administration, as bad as we think they are, cannot be compared to military regimes. The way military manages a system. Look at us in Nigeria, for instance. We're not supposed to be where we are today. But we spent good 26 years or thereabouts, or 30 years on military intervention from 1966 till 1979. We were under military regime. We had a democratic process just for 4.5 years or thereabouts, 1979 to 1983. They took over again. We didn't have a democratic process again until 1999. Those were period of, I call them period of darkness in Nigerian political and economic history. We couldn't move forward. These guys would just come and do whatever they like. Nobody could ask questions. You just take it as it is. No planning, no concrete developmental program in place. But with a democratic process, however bad it might look, you have the legal system put in place, legislative system put in place, you have the your judiciary put in place, and you have the executive powers, put in place. So those are interactions that would engage each other and also have a balance of governments from these various arms that would ensure that you have proper planning and economic integration at all. Look at the reforms that are taking place now. There are necessary reforms that can only take place in the democratic process. We have left our tax reforms unattended to for several years. Now we are just starting. What we should have done 40 years ago, we're just starting in 2020 when the whole world has moved far ahead. So these are challenges that you have when you have military intervention. So for me, I still think we don't have facts to say there are relationship. Nigeria acted on ECOWAS treaties. ECOMOG was there during the Liberia crisis. Liberia was on fire. It was a long war, but Nigeria was able to support, Liberia to manage that challenge. Now, the problem we are facing is that, like rightly positioned, we need to reform our institutions. We need to reform our system. We need to have a system that is working. We have a systemic failure in governance in Africa, especially in West Africa. Very, very prominent, very, very clear. things are not going the way we expected it to go. But this will not happen overnight. In a gradual, as you are progressing as a nation, you identify areas of challenges, you identify areas of concern, and you have a commitment as a nation to work together and ensure that things are, working smoothly, and you have the country on a stable position. With this continuous intervention of military, West Africa especially cannot make progress. Let us just work on reviewing our institutions and be committed towards ensuring that we have legislative system that makes make sure that things are working properly. Otherwise, we're going back to the dark ages, and it's not going to help our situation. However, people are rejoicing, they're jubilating, that military intervention. Naturally, it will happen. I've been around for a while in this, and I've witnessed several of these. As a young, I was born in 1968. I didn't witness 1966 coup, but I witnessed 1978. As a young man, I witnessed what happened, up till 1979 when we had the Shagari regime come into play. And after that, just shortly after that, Buhari took over. Buhari of that young age, when he became the head of state of Nigeria, and then compared to Buhari that became civilian president, we had expected that things will work normally. And like he said, this country witnessed 8 years of backwardness under that was even a former military head of state that became a civilian head of state. So you can imagine the challenges we're having in leadership. For me, as I'm concerned, Nigeria, Africa is generally, like President Lumumba always established, the problem we have is leadership. Problem we have is leadership capacity. We do not have leaders that seems to understand the dynamics of managing these problems, and that also have the commitment to ensure that we have solutions, we provide solutions to our internal continental problems and challenges. Until we have leaders that have understanding of how things work internationally in terms of connecting relationship with other countries of the world, to grow our economy, to grow our system. We have all it takes to be the world power. We have all it takes to enjoy a strong position in the global economy. But unfortunately, we don't have leaders that have vision, that have commitment, that have committed to the people. And that is why you have this military intervention. The moment you have a system, you have government systems that are working in all these various countries, you would discover that people will not be demanding or requesting for a military intervention. I think the major problem is institutional framework and commitment of our leadership to governance.
Let me turn to Fido before we say our VOA on this particular segment. What risk do you think this will pose to Nigeria's military capacity, and of course the morale and long-term security priorities, and of course cost? Because some Nigerians are saying that they had no idea that Nigeria had fighter debt, and then a lot of things that have been done to actually ensure that Benin is calm. So speaking about the cost now, and then the fact that a lot of Nigerians also think that it is not that Nigerian military cannot tackle insecurity in Nigeria. I mean, because for the president to have given that order, and then a lot has changed, because according to people now, the military, Nigerian military, have been able to quell the coup in Benin. So what will you say about the cost now? Because I want to believe that recently the military have complained bitterly about resources, underfunding. Even the new Minister of Defense, he mentioned something around that to say that he wants to ensure that the funds will come directly from the federal government and things are put in place. So for a country, for a military, for the military aspect of the country that is complaining about underfunding, overstretching, and now we are doing this to Benin, what do you make of all of this?
We must be very careful as a country. The alliance of Sahel states, which comprises of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. They have signed a defense pact with Russia. Mind you, they have signed a defense pact with Russia already. All the French colony in Africa, they want to liberate themselves from the siege of France. That is what we call the policy of assimilation. That was the policy France introduced when they colonized Africa.
But there was a policy of association that replaced assimilation.
Fine.
Yeah.
Now, there is one thing that is very germane. Okay. The sovereignty of a country must never be compromised, especially territorial sovereignty. Okay. Now, when you look at the case of Nigeria, defense spending is so high. Large chunk of our budgets go for defense. And we are having what we call the high state of insecurity. Is that not an irony? The other day, the president admitted. Why? Because he was overwhelmed by the spate of violence and high level of insecurity. That was why he now decided to declare a national state of emergency on security in Nigeria. Okay. Now, the issue on ground is this. There are too many problems now in Nigeria. Too many problems, especially within the structure of the armed forces. Within the structure of the armed forces, there is a problem. One of the problems is this, infiltration. Then we have a porous border too.
Okay.
Let me give you an instance. When you look at Niger, Niger is a landlocked country. So a landlocked country, based on international law, you must give them access to the sea. Niger be a landlocked country, landlocked. We will say because there is a diplomatic row between Nigeria and Niger now, Nigeria will now stop goods going to Niger from going. No. Based on international law. And there is one thing that is very germane. Based on the Nigerian foreign policy, non-alignment. What does it mean? That Nigeria is going to be a friend to all countries in the world and an enemy to none. So if Nigeria want to play a big brother role, there is a way you are going to play it. Is Nigeria a good model in Africa when it comes to the issue of leadership? Barack Obama, the former president of the United States, said, he said it's not enough building great institutions, but you must build what? Great men. Men of character, men of candor. When we look at democracy, Abraham Lincoln said that democracy is the government of the people, for the people and by the people. When you look at the virtues of democracy, it has a good ideal. Let me give you an example. If the president commits an impeachable offense, the law says he will be impeached. Is it possible for you to impeach a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that have violated the Constitution? The Constitution also says that if your representative have violated the Constitution, you can seek for recall. Is it possible in Nigeria? Do we have an independent judiciary? Do we have an independent legislative arm of government? Do we have an independent executive arm of government? So there is a problem on ground. So when we are talking about military intervention, the cause has always been the civilians. Because most of them don't love the country. What they do is personal interest. And there are three problems Nigerians are having. And I'm going to say it on this platform. The first problem Nigeria is having is what we call free rider effect. What does it mean in economics? People are benefiting from natural resources they are not paying for. It's a problem. In advanced economy in the world, you have to be taxed. The only way you are going to go, the only thing they will not tax you is the air you breathe. In a tax-based economy. But in Nigeria today, we have people benefiting from natural resources, benefiting from capital infrastructure they are not paying for. Let me give an instance. Issue of road, toll gate. Is there anything wrong paying toll fees? The money you now generate will now be used to maintain. In Nigeria today, there is nothing like toll fees, a problem. Free rider effect. Then the second one is what we call rent-seeking syndrome. What does it mean? Rent-seeking syndrome simply means that you have a natural resources, but you fail to exploit that natural resources. You now seek the help of foreign expatriates to help you to extract what you only depend on is what? Royalty. Yeah, you collect royalty. Then the third one is what we call Dutch disease. And what does it mean? When the development of a particular sector of the economy leads to a decline in other sectors of the economy, the oil sector has witnessed development. But the agricultural sector has witnessed what we call a decline.
We'll come back to this discussion. Unfortunately, but because of time, we need to go. Let me begin to appreciate it, but then let's just sign out. Because history warns us that good intentions are not enough. Legitimacy comes from consent, clarity, and accountability. Today's discussion reminds us that while Nigeria's role in Africa is significant, leadership must be rooted in caution, not impulse, in consensus, not convenience. As Nigeria steps beyond its borders, once again, the questions raised by this intervention will not disappear with Senate approval. They will linger in the minds of citizens, asking whether national priorities are aligned with national realities. African unity must be built on cooperation, not coercion, on diplomacy, not default militarism. The real test is not whether Nigeria can act, but whether it acts wisely and with the people firmly in view. That has been Big Story on Daybreak Live. My sincere thanks to Ignatius Ebosalume Ofino and Honorable Kule Olatunji for their insight, and thank you for listening. It's a fine place to leave it this morning. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality production.
I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. And of course, it's a fine place to live it this morning on Daybreak Live. A big thanks to you for being a part of today's show. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun, and I'm saying good morning and have a great day ahead.
And I'll leave with a question. What is the use of federal mines that cannot help itself? My name is Anulu Akwedo. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.